Let's get started, guys. Welcome back to episode... Guys, is it 4? I don't know. Is it 5? The Lost Ark Dojo locked in learning session. Here we go. All right. Welcome. Hit the period key. Let's go in here. So let's start with talking about the evolution tree. This is the first one you're going to encounter. If you used to play this game, this is where your class sets were, like entropy, hallucination, salvation, betrayal, things like that. So all that got condensed. All your stats are gone from jewelry now. If you used to play, this is where I wouldn't call it a completely blank slate where you can build this however you want, but there are some things you can change based on what you need. Once again, go to the Lost Ark Nexus here, check for your class. This will probably be all set up, but double check the community guide for your class to make sure you're built right. And you go over here to the Ark Passive section. It's going to tell you how to do your stats and all your evolution, enlightenment, and leap. But let's focus on evolution for right now. Now, evolution, where do you get evolution points? Evolution points come from levels and I believe the armor. Now, armor below ancient gives a little bit less. And then as you do a gear, solo a gear pretty soon here, you're going to be able to increase the amount of evolution points you get. And then we have karma. I won't go into too much detail on karma during this section because that's from a raid. We'll cover that in a different part. But in karma, if you click this little star, we're going to see that this does not give us any sort of evolution points, but it does increase our evolution damage, brand power, and HP. Now, evolution type damage is something that's added in tier 4. It's in a kind of like additional damage, I guess, where it's another bit of damage that's being calculated into your total damage. So in short, more is better. Brand is specific to supports and increasing the power of their branding. Now up at the top, the first row here, and if you've played before in the past, all these stats can be interchanged however you want. You can shift click these little plus signs to do a little bit more points at once instead of clicking each one individually. Once again, follow the build guide for your class if you're not sure what to do, and then go from there. I won't bore you by reading through all of these stats, but basically follow the guide. Second row, the tier 2 things, however, is where we start to get a little bit different. This is where you have things like Goddess of Blessing for supports, followed by Passionate Dance, and then Stable Manager down here. But this one can be interchanged by other ones, like you can run MP Furnace as a support or Standing Striker and things like that. Now this second row here, we have things like Optimized Training, where we're giving up a little bit of damage, like 10% here, for a little bit of cooldown reduction, let's say. Or you can gain crit and gain less Evo damage, or like change how the mana consuming cost, or the mana goes down on the cost. I won't bore you by reading through most of these. You generally don't change these once they're set up as a new player. I will say though, there's times where you may be playing with a crit sin or 2 crit sins. And what I mean by crit sin is a crit synergy. It's something that's buffing your crit chance. We'll cover synergies in a different video, but for talking point, the crit synergy would make me want to drop this out and put more points in just raw damage, for example. Not something you need to worry about for right now, but this is the Evo tree and kind of like how it works, what it does. I will say the weapon does not give you evolution points. Also, the set effect does increase your evolution points gain. So if you look in the bottom there under gear upgrade effect of this piece, let me move the camera just in case. You see how it says level 1, level 2, level 3, 16, 18, and 20. Now, if you're a new player that's not playing on a pass, I think you have to do like Clown and Triangle to go to 2 and then 3 to upgrade the amount of evolution points you're getting from this. If you're using a pass or already established, you probably already have this done. And so it's just going to be already at level 3. It's pretty tough and annoying that you have to go through that. Hopefully they change that and work that around, but just giving you a heads up there. So I think that covers evolution as a whole. It's not too complex when you're following a build guide. And that's just where you get the points. So if you're not level 70 yet, focus on getting level 70, do your content, do your dailies, whatever it may be, weeklies. Enlightenment. Now this is like your class build. Every class has 2 different builds, going down the right side in the middle or the left side. It's not really freedom of choice. So this right, but you can freely change this however you want. Go all the way back up and then go down to the left side, for example, if I want to try FI, First Intention build, or I can go back up and go back down to what I was, which is esoteric. So if you played in the past, you used to have to build out your class, get class books. Class books are gone. Enlightenment points are like your class build here. Your class build here in these little side nodes, you can put points in these other ones over here, but they don't always benefit the build you are if you go across to the other side of the railroad over here, the other side of the tracks, if you will. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So again, this is something you follow your build guide forward. Where do you get enlightenment points? Source one is karma. Again, I won't go into detail here. Let's scroll all the way over to the side here. And if just getting one unlock is +1 enlightenment, and then 2 on the ranks here. So like different unlocks as you go down this tree path here gives you more and more enlightenment points all the way up to the top up here to 6 +6. And also increasing my weapon power every time we go through that. Talk about karma again in a different video. But you get more enlightenment points from that. I will call out the codex, that's Alt-D if you forgot. Character growth, and down here under the Ark passive points, I can click these and see where each one of these sources are. And then I can look up this in particular to get more of those points in addition to levels. Another call out is the jewelry. So under evolution, use armor to increase evo points. Under enlightenment, you're using jewelry to increase enlightenment points. And then down here, if you see at the bottom of that piece of jewelry, Ark passive point effect. So as I refine jewelry, I'm going to make a jewelry guide that's going to show this a little bit differently. When you're starting out, it should give you starter jewelry that has this already taken care of, and you don't have to worry about this till later. But that is a source of enlightenment points. You have to make sure you're above a certain quality to get max enlightenment out of jewelry. Now, we talked about the points here. We talked about the levels. We talked about the jewelry. This is my class build. And then over here on the side. Note the connected ones have to be taken together. Side nodes are free game. Yeah, exactly. So if I wanted to stop here and do this, I can do whatever I want and move these around. I think that about covers enlightenment. Again, check the codex if you want more points. Now, leap is a little bit different. Leap doesn't unlock until 1640 and finishing South Curzon, I believe. Or I think you have to finish South Curzon to get this, and the Hyper Awakening Hyper Skill quest. Not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Where do you get leap points? That's levels primarily, and then this bracelet. Now, tier 4 bracelets gives Ark passive points. I don't think T3 bracelets do because you can't even use this yet. And what does leap points give us? Leap points give us a way to enhance our Hyper Awakening and our Hyper Skill. Now there's requirements. You have to spend 40 here, and you can go up to 30 down here, right? So if I took points out down here, I could reallocate up here if I wanted. But that's obviously not what I want to do because I want more damage. Down here, just as a call out, this is another thing that's going to be in your build guide to follow. I wouldn't worry too much about this. If you want to min-max a little bit, you can. But it's not something you're going to be doing as a newer returning player. But just to show you where this is at, how to get these points. Again, I can go and look at karma, click the star, and I can see here I got +12 leap versus down here +2 leap. So just to talk through top to bottom, start to finish again, evolution, it's from your armor pieces. And then getting the ancient armor increases the amount you get from it. This is where your stats are in your class build, or not your class build, but like your set build, I'll call it. Enlightenment is your class build. There's 2 different options plus the side nodes. And you get these from jewelry and levels. And you can look at the codex for where to get more of those. There's a couple from horizontal. And then leap points. Get it from the tier 4 bracelets and up. You have to be 1640 to use these. This enhances your hyper skill and hyper awakening. But I think that about covers the Ark passive system. It's pretty straightforward overall. Just follow the guide and you can like read over these. Like this one, for example, is crit rate up and then directional attack skills, crit damage. All right, that concludes it. Thank you for coming in. See you next time. Boom. Say bye, YouTube. Bye, YouTube. Bye-bye.